Hey guys, welcome back to the restaurant show. Joining us now, we have Next Door Brewing Company who is here, and we're gonna do some pickling, I understand.
Yep.
So pretty cool stuff, and we're gonna, of course, have you talk to us about beer pairings. So that's what you guys do best. So I'm excited. I know you guys have had a busy couple of weeks. So I'll ask you about some of that stuff later, but let's talk first about this pickling and what in the heck are you gonna do?
Sure. So we have a dish at Next Door Brewing that we call our Next Door Pickle Jar. And this is just essentially any sort of vegetables that we feel like, pickling in-house. We do, 95% of our pickling in-house, except for just one individual one. But this is called quick pickling, and what we'll do is we'll take any sort of seasonal vegetables that we have, and we'll take them and soak them in a brine solution with whatever sort of flavorings that we like.
Okay, so you can do all kinds of different vegetables. It looks like I see you have quite a collection here already. So you're gonna start with some celery. And this is interesting because I actually don't do any pickling personally, but I don't think about this a whole lot. So this is kind of a cool process to get to learn about. So you can do all sorts of different veggies. So you're doing onion.
So you can, with pickling, it's really, it really started out as a preservative process. But you can do anything that's got like a nice, strong cellular structure. At least that's what I prefer. Okay. Because for me, a pickle is all about the crunch and the sourness.
Sure. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the difference between quick pickling versus, some of the other options, or
Sure. So quick pickling is it's not as long as a preservation method. Quick pickles, generally you'll get, like a regular vegetable, you'll get maybe a week or so out of the life of it. Quick pickling will add that up to about a month, versus fermentation methods, which is most of your like dill pickle styles. That's a fermented pickle, as opposed to this is a quick pickling. So that's something that you'll sit in, a crock for a month, just sitting in salt and water and whatever flavorings. Whereas this is more it's a part acid cook and it's a part heat cook. So that's why we've got this thing boiling over here.
Very neat. Okay, so you can quick pickle something and preserve it for a while. Which is neat and something I would never even think to do. And you've got all kinds of different things that you're doing here. So is this the size jar that you would normally use, or is this what you're just doing for us here today?
So this is a fun little jar that I picked out for actually serving our pickle jar out of.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to do a kind of a play on home pickling.
Yeah.
So we'll have that when this is all done. I'm doing a different preparation than what we'd do at the restaurant. These would be a lot longer.
Sure.
So when we do our final dish, there's all sorts of fun little pickles sticking out of the top of it.
Very cool. And then how do you determine which vegetables you're going to use at Next Door Brewing Company for the pickle jar there?
So a lot of that's going to depend on, like I said, what will have a nice structure and crunch left over. Okay. And also just whatever's seasonal, whatever we can get from our farmers.
Sure. And where are you finding, are you sourced mostly locally here, or where do you? Mostly locally,
yeah. What we can. Obviously throughout the winter we have to go through some non-local sources, but it's the nature of this,
Wisconsin, good old northern, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit while you kind of finish up some of that about, we've got our master here of the beer world, okay? So Ben, you got to talk to us a little bit about, we don't talk about beer pairings a whole lot, but when you guys come on, we get to talk about beer pairings. What kinds of beer might you pair with the pickle jar that you do?
Sure, so the flavors that you're going to get from the pickle jar include things like sour, crisp, clean, maybe a hint of that salinity from some of the other ingredients that are used. So finding a beer that complements and accentuates some of those flavors is going to bring out even some more of the flavors that you would have gotten from that.
Okay.
What we have here today is one of our newer beers. It's our Eastside APA.
Okay.
APA stands for American Pale Ale. A lot of people, when they first hear about beers, they decide whether it's a malty or a hoppy beer. Okay. This is going to be hoppy, but it's still welcoming enough for somebody who doesn't maybe identify themselves as a hoppy beer drinker, so that they would still really like it. It uses great mosaic hops, which accentuates some of the citrusy flavors that you might get from some of the pickling processes. Yeah. Other types of beers that would pair well would be like anything that's going to be light, like a light wheat base or a Goza, things like that. Okay. All of which we make in-house.
So this is a hoppy beer. So, and I love how your beers always come in these jugs. This is so cool. So if hoppy makes you happy, I just really wanted to say that.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, cheesy, couldn't help it. But this is a good one. So the
Absolutely.
easy side, and that's going to pair well with the pickle jar. Love that you guys do that. Now, what other? You've got the pickle jar and you've got your hoppy beer. Is there like another small plate? You guys do a lot of these small plate items. Is there a small plate that might go well with these two things?
Absolutely. So our small plates are designed so that you can sample a lot of our different culinary options.
Right.
Things that are going to pair well with hoppy beer, maybe something on the spicier side like our Korean barbecue wings, or even something with a little bit of the salt content like our homemade cheese curds.
Okay.
That would pair really well with the hoppy beer as well.
Very cool. And I want to make sure that we talk about this because you guys have a pretty cool milestone that is coming up. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. So August 30th, we'll be doing a big event at the Brewing Company. We'll be having live music, brewing a special beer for that event, and we're really excited about just celebrating 1 year of being in the neighborhood and being part of the Madison community as well. So
it's really surprising to me, honestly, that you've only been around a year because I kind of stumbled upon you. I shouldn't use that term when talking about a brewery, should I? I kind of stumbled upon you, though, for lack of a better term, after you've been there maybe 6 or 7 months. And when you guys told me how new you were, actually, I was really surprised because you have it together. You have such a cool atmosphere. The food's great. And you know what you're doing up there, so we love having you on. We're excited that you're coming up on a year. That's cool stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very big milestone for us.
Yeah, it sure is. And you're having that beer release, so we're kind of running out of time.
Okay.
But I want to kind of check in on your pickling here. And
Yeah.
This looks awesome. So you're kind of pouring some different things over. Talk to us about that really quick.
So we've got just a couple of different spices that we like to put in here. This is what I put in here before while you guys are talking was a pickling spice mix, and that'll go with a lot of things. It'll be like fennel seed, coriander, mustard seed. Those are pretty standard for a lot of pickle flavors. For a new dish that we have on our new menu, it's called a Whiskally burger. So that gets these pickled jalapenos, which I like to add some garlic to, just give it a little bit of that extra funk to it.
Okay.
So now this will normally take about an hour, hour and a half of sitting in this brine.
Right.
So we'll just pour the hot liquid over that,
Wow,
and
look at
then
that.
it'll just set in there. And then it'll take on any of those spice flavorings.
We're ready to let it sit, and that's what we get when we order. We get all these cool vegetables. Well, that's so cool. God, it goes so fast, doesn't it, guys? I can't believe we're already out of time. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We got to go with our signature cheers, right?
All right.
I mean, this is what we do when you guys come
Absolutely.
on the restaurant show. We got to cheers this delicious brew. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
And
for having
thank you
us.
for joining us. We'll be back with more Restaurant Show right after this.